Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmadgurubhyo Namaha श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः ओम श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। Namaste once again, all of you. And my usual request, please mark your attendance so that I know you were there in the class. Okay, good. So, in the last class, towards the end, we were seeing the fourth qualification. The student asked, Mumukshutvam Kim? And the Guru, the Acharya said, Moksho me bhuyat iti icha. That is, I should become moksha. Let moksha happen to me. Right? That is what bhuyat means. Right? So, this is what very simply the Guru said, that this is what is mumukshutva. So, the first, and this is an important qualification as I told you, because unless you have got a strong desire to free yourself from all the troubles that you are facing in this life, unless you understand why these troubles are being caused to you, you will never have the desire. You may have desire for so many things, but you will never develop a desire to get rid of all these things. In fact, our desire is to get more and more into problems only. That is the problem with the human mind. And why that is happening? Because we always take ourselves to a limited being. We look at what we don't have and we actually miss all that we have. And this is the problem for all samsaris. A samsari in his life, he looks at what he doesn't have and keeps on struggling to get that. When he gets that also, temporarily he is a mukta purusha because his immediate goal is achieved. He has got that. But within few minutes or few hours, another desire comes up. Then he will struggle for that. So this struggle continues, and the feeling of satisfaction, contentment, the feeling that aham purna hai, in between it comes. Now, normally we will focus on what is one thing at a time. Suppose I am living in a rented house, my focus will be to buy a house for my own sake. I will not have plan. I want to buy a house, I want to buy a car, I want to buy so many things that won't be there. I want to first buy a house. Immediately. You will struggle for it, save money, find out which bank is giving what loans and all that, everything fine. And finally, let us assume I succeed getting a house. I buy a house. Very happy, content that, oh, my life goal is resolved. I've got the house. I've been living in rented house all these years. Now I've got my own house. Nobody can ask me to go out of this house. Mukta, that is it becomes a Mukta Purusha momentarily. That is moksha. Then what happens? Immediately, oh, now I have got the house. Now, my children are going by school bus and my wife has to go for work in local train and all that. I should buy a car. Should have a car. Then this fellow will go on struggling to buy a car. So from a Mukta Purusha, moksha, he comes back to samsara. So if you analyze our life, it is a ding dong. Sometimes when we are and what is the feeling when we enjoy that moksha? Total happiness. Isn't it? So you can understand that the nature of that moksha is what? Happiness. And of course, this is another matter which I will not discuss now. We are actually attributing that happiness to actually our acquiring the house. We think that the house is giving us happiness. But actually, the happiness is within us. What happens is, when we miss something in life, we become unhappy. And that something, when we get it, we become happy. So, happiness is a state of mind. It does not lie in any object, any person, any situation, anything in this world. Unfortunately, we misunderstand this happiness, which is the sign of moksha. That is why I said moksha means permanent happiness, eternal happiness, always being happy. How can you always be happy? By having total contentment in your life. Look at what all you have and feel full. In fact, there is a very interesting story which I came across some time ago. There were two people sitting outside a temple. There is normally temples and all in villages and all. They will have a sit out, what we call a veranda type. People coming, going and all, they will visit the temple, come out and then sit there for some time and all. So there were two people sitting. One was a pakka samsari, a married man with children and all that. Another was a Mahatma. Both were sitting there. So this one person came and he was some sort of a journalist, let us assume. Okay, he wanted to interview these two people with regard to their life. So first he went to the samsari and asked him, "Sir, can you please describe your life to me?" The samsari said, "I can describe it very beautifully to you. Do you have a paper and pencil?" He said, "Yes, I've got a paper and pencil and here it is." He showed the paper and pencil. So the samsari, what he did, he drew a circle. My circle may not be very circular, but doesn't matter as long as you understand the concept. So he drew a circle. Then this fellow asked, "What do you mean by drawing a circle?" He says, "My life is like circle 0. I don't have a house of my own. I don't have a car of my own. What to talk of car? I don't even have a bicycle of my own. Every month and I struggle to actually, make both the ends meet. My wife wants so much jewelry, I cannot afford to buy the jewelry for us. So in effect, there are so many things I don't have in my life. And that is why I consider my life as a big 0. That circle represents a 0. So this fellow understood. Okay, very good. Now he asked the Mahatma, "Sir, can you please describe your life to me?" Mahatma said, "Yes, very easy. Give me that paper and pencil." And what that Mahatma did was, near that he drew another circle. Right? Probably a bigger one than what the samsari did. But this fellow got confused. He said, "Sir, I asked you for your life. This fellow drew a circle, I could understand because he said it is like a zero. Why are you also drawing a circle? He says, my circle does not represent zero. My circle represents infinity, limitlessness. I have no desire at all in my life. I feel my life is full. Nothing can add any more to my life. If you look at this guy, he said he doesn't have a house, he doesn't have a car or even a bicycle. All that he said, oh, wife, jewelry, and so many things he said. I also don't have a house. I also don't have a car. I also don't have that bicycle which he talked about. In fact, I have no wife, so that I don't have any question of jewelry business also. But I don't miss any of them. Because in my mind, I am full. I am contented with what all I am. And then he said, this fellow actually is not understanding what he has. He says he has a wife. She must be a really beautiful wife. Very obedient, nice wife who takes care of him, feeds him. This fellow has got two lovely children who go to school and are performing very well in the school. That he is not seeing. This fellow has got, at least whether it is a rented house or whatever it is, he has got a roof over his head. Just look at so many people who are sleeping on the roads at night. The problem with this fellow is he is not seeing and being contented with what he has. He is always looking at what he doesn't have. Whereas so far as I am concerned, I look at what I have. And what do I require in my life? All that I require is 2 times food, right? And that also, if I don't get, I have got enough titiksha to bear hunger, right? I can, tolerate hunger, no problem. I got titiksha. I require some clothes to wear, which I have got. God has been kind enough to give me that. And seeing me as a sannyasi, as a Mahatma, many people come and donate these clothes to me. In fact, I have got more than I can wear. I can wear only 1 set of dress a day, and 2 set of dress is enough for me. One I will wash and another one I will wear, and similarly, alternatively I can do, but I have got more than that. So he said that the problem is not with the zero. The problem is he looks at this as a zero. I look at the circle as a fullness. For him, living is like the new moon, Amavasya. For me, life is a full moon, Paurnami. Aham Purna hai. This is the attitude of moksha. So the entire spiritual journey is all about traveling from new moon to full moon. Once you have reached that mental state of full moonness, Purnatvam, that's why we call it Paurnami, right? Purnatvam, no more desires, no more longings, no more limitations. Whatever I get, Ishvara is kind enough to give me, and I am happy with that. If I get more and more things, I am not going to reject it. In fact, it will help me to make other people Purna. I can give those things to him. If somebody gives me a donation of a house, I will say, I don't need that, you take the house. I will sleep in the temple veranda also. For me, it is quite okay. So, what I'm saying is this moksha, we must understand what is this moksha. Because many of us have got very wrong impressions, wrong understanding of what this moksha is. Because we have been restricting all our knowledge gathering only up to the this Purana level. We have never even gone to Bhagavad Gita level. As I explained in my initial classes, we have to move from one level to another level, like from primary to secondary, secondary to high school to undergraduate, undergraduate to postgraduate, and eventually when you come to Vedanta, no, study of Upanishads and Brahma Sutra and all, you are the PhD level. This journey, spiritual journey, we will have to trace. We'll have to trace this journey. But most of us, we are stuck at the Purana level. And Purana, what they say, moksha means you die and you go to Vaikunta, you go to Brahmaloka, you go to Swarga. That is moksha. That is fine. That is meant for a primary or a secondary school level. After having come to postgraduate level, can you still be, repeating all those moksha concepts? No. So, only Advaita Vedanta talks about moksha, what exactly it is. All other philosophies take that Purana version and then just sort of, tell to everybody, this is moksha. So moksha, we have to be very careful. We have to understand it is Purnatvam. It is no limitlessness. When you understand, you realize your nature, your Swarupa is limitless. Nothing else can limit you. And we will be seeing in the next chapter onwards, all our desires, all our cravings in our life are related to this body, mind, sense complex, not related to our Swarupa at all. So all those details we will see. But I just wanted to explain to you that at the beginning itself, when we call it mumukshutvam as a qualification, what is that qualification? It is the qualification for having a intense desire to become Purna. Realize that fullness in our own self. Once you have realized that fullness, whether you are in this world, not in this world, you are alone or in the company of so many people, whether you are watching a movie, doesn't matter. Because nothing is going to add, nothing can be taken away from you. From infinity, nothing can be added to infinity. Nothing can be reduced from infinity. That is what is moksha is. So this is what the author is telling in so many, without saying in so many words. So I thought I will explain this moksha concept to you. And as I said, this moksha involves 3 stages. First of all, the qualifications. That is why Viveka, Vairagya, and all those qualifications that Samadhi, Shatka, Sampatti, all those are all building blocks for this, getting this qualification. And mumukshutvam, the intense desire to be freed from all these shackles or bonds of the samsara, bonds of this desire, wanting more and more, cravings, all that being free from that. That is what is moksha, right? So first, acquire the qualification, then acquire the self-knowledge, and then understand moksha. This is the journey rather. In 3 stages we go. The first stage we have now covered the qualification, we have understood. And as I told you, it is not necessary that you should have 100%, but you must have some element of the qualification. And I normally tell my students that unless you had that element of qualification, you will not be sitting in this class and listening to all the things that I am trying to tell you. Okay. So you already have some desire, something which is prompting to come to this class and listen to these talks, rather. Vedanta talks. Vedanta doesn't interest everybody. In fact, if 0.1% of the world population is interested in Vedanta, that will be a very great. So you can consider yourself to be less than that 0.1% who has come to Vedanta and trying to understand what this is all about. Let it be out of pure curiosity, it doesn't matter. Because if it is curiosity and if you attend 3 classes and then 4th class onwards you drop out, and there will be a lot of dropouts in Vedanta. Because they can't relate to the whole concept. It's a very subtle concept. So they can't relate. So they will say, no, this is all, going above my head. So they will drop out on their own. So the message is, if you have to continue in this path of spiritual path, the scriptures have to bless you. And that is why I am insisting that don't take these classes lightly. If you have to benefit from this, you have to import, most importantly, the scriptures blessing is required. Scriptures will reveal themselves only to those people who have got Shraddha in the scriptures. That much I can tell you, 100% guaranteed. If you do not have Shraddha in the scriptures, you learn from any guru, you will never be able to understand what the guru is talking about. And this I have seen it personally in my life, rather in the Gurukula. Okay. So this is what is moksha is all about. And we saw another thing, the benefits of moksha we have seen initially, the fivefold benefits. Now, once you understand this Purnatvam, that you are Purna, you are not a limited being, you are Aparichinna, then those benefits automatically will flow down. That is what we have to understand. Okay. So, from slavery to immunity from problems, to efficiency in all our undertakings, all these things are all the result of this moksha. Moksha phalam, right? So, having enumerated all these qualifications, the author concludes, Etat sadhana chatushtayam. This is sadhana chatushtayam. Student first asks sadhana chatushtayam kim. He has given all these explanations. Said this is what we call sadhana chatushtayam. And then he adds, Tatah tattva vivekasya adhikarino bhavanti. The one who has, tatah, therefore, etat, these four qualifications, these four qualifications, which is what? Viveka, Vairagya, Samadhi, Shakka Sampattihi, and Mumukshu. These four qualifications are, as I said in English, discrimination, dispassion, desire, and discipline and desire. Desire is moksha. The 4 Ds we talked about, right? This is what is the moksha situation. And these qualifications, whoever has, is called a sadhana chatushtaya sampannaha. The qualification itself is called sampatti. The one who has is called sampannaha, the one who has. Okay. So, we have to, whenever we come across this word sadhana chatushtaya, we must immediately relate to what all we have learned in the last few classes. Okay. What are these qualifications? Because in Bhagavad Gita and all, sometimes you will come across Upanishads, you will come across these words. So there we must relate what is this sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Very useful vocabulary to add or keep or remember rather. Whenever we come across in any scripture, we will know what this sadhana chatushtaya sampatti is. Then the author says, Tataha, therefore, that means due to that, and that is Chadana Chatushtaya Sampanna Prapti Anantaram, after having gained that Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, all these qualifications, Adhikarinaha Bhavanti. The person becomes an Adhikari. Adhikari does not here mean what we normally use. Adhikari means an officer or a person who has got authority. That's not the meaning. In Vedanta, a Adhikari means a qualified person. A person who is fit to receive the knowledge. The person who has got all those 4 Ds, he is an Adhikari. Okay. So he becomes eligible for self-knowledge. It's just like, GMAT and all the GRE and all these students give, for getting this postgraduate admission, US universities. Unless you clear that, you won't get admission. And there also, even if you clear, you must, higher marks you score, better is the chance of admission in some reputed good university. Similarly, Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti is the qualification by which a person becomes an Adhikari, eligible person. Then he says Adhikari for what? Tattva Vivekasya. Tattva Viveka means Tattva Bodha. Right? Which we have seen right in the beginning. while analyzing the meaning of the word Tattva Bodha, the words, right? So this person becomes eligible for self-knowledge. Now, one important question may come naturally to everybody. While the author has told about detail about he listed all the 4 qualifications and all that, how should one go about acquiring these qualifications? Isn't it? That the author doesn't talk about at all in this text. So this question will remain. Okay, you said that you can start even if you have pass percentage of this qualification. Let us say 50% you have got or 40% you have got. But I want to improve this qualification because as I progress more and more in the spiritual journey, I need to increase this each aspect of this qualification. How do I go about doing that? And it's a very genuine question of a sadhaka. He will ask whether I should take some training from somebody. I must go and to a guru and serve him and all that kind of stuff. So these questions can be asked. So how to become eligible is a question which Bhagavan Krishna answers in the Bhagavad Gita. He tells how one can become sadhana chatushtaya sampanna. And mind you, it is all a question of changing your attitude, changing your vision, changing your approach to life. That's all. You must work towards that. Right? So, what he says is, what Krishna says is, the method to acquire this sadhana chatushtaya sampatti is, the method is called karma yoga. So you have to practice karma yoga for a period of time, a long period of time. Then as and when you do it, automatically the sadhana chatushtaya will go on increasing. Now second question, karma yoga, what is karma yoga? Will be there, isn't it? Natural question. And Bhagavan Krishna points out that karma yoga is not any particular action that you do. Very important to note. Many people think that by doing some action they are doing karma yoga. It is not the action you do. Karma yoga is the attitude with which you do all your actions. Any action that you do, with what attitude you are doing that action is what is karma yoga. And generally, when in Vedanta, very good, Puja Swamiji, Dayanand Saraswati ji explained this very simply. These 2 requirements of the attitude, relating to the attitude for karma yoga, he explained it as Ishwararpana bhavaha and Ishwara prasada buddhi. This is one way of looking at what is karma yoga. Whatever I do in my life, I am doing it as an offering to the Lord, as a naivedhyam to the Lord. That is what I am doing. Whether I am eating, I am offering to the Lord which is there in my body. Jataragni is there, Agni Devata is there in my stomach. Each part there is a Devata who is there. For all those Devatas who are residing in me, I am offering this food. So even a small thing like eating, that is why we all, before we eat, we pray. Let what I am eating go to all these Devatas, because each Devata is taking care of one faculty in our body. Isn't it? I told you, I think in this class only I told, Prajanane Brahma Tishtato, Padayor Vishnus Tishtato, Hastayor Haras Tishtato, Bahvor Indras Tishtato, Jataregnis Tishtato, Hridaye Shivas Tishtato, Kanthe Vasavas Tishtanto, Vaktre Saraswati Tishtato, Nasigayor Vayus Tishtato, Nayanayos Chandradityav Tishtetam, Karnayor Ashwinov Tishtetam, Lalate Rudras Tishtanto, Murdhyadityas Tishtanto, Shirasi Mahadevas Tishtato, Shikaya Mamadevas Tishtato, Prishte Pinagi Tishtato, Puradashuli Tishtato, Parsvayoho Shiva Shankarau Tishteta. Rudram, when we study Rudram and Lagunyasa, explains in each part of our body which Devata is residing. So when we are doing anything, all that we need to understand is, I am carrying all these Devatas. What are Devatas? Nothing but cosmic powers. We don't need to give some idol form and shape and all to Devata. Understand Devata as cosmic power. And as I explained in the last class, this all that at the macro level, the cosmic powers exist. And all of us are getting a minuscule of that cosmic power for us to carry out all our activities, all our vyavahara. So we are, when every action that we do, everything that we do, we offer it as a offering to all the Devatas, to the Bhagavan. Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, Ishvara Arpana Bhava. And then, whenever we do, we will have certain expectations from our action. It is not wrong to have expectations at all. Vedanta doesn't say you must, Nishkama Karma means do your actions without expectation. Only, not even a fool will do that. Everybody does an action with certain expectations. But the problem is, when your expectations are not met, you become sorrowful. You become miserable. And that is why the second aspect of the Karma Yoga is emphasized, Ishvara Prasada Buddhi, Prasada Bhavana. Whatever you get out of all the action that you do, accept that with humility as a prasada which God has given you. Because you offered all your actions to Ishvara. Ishvara is now giving you a prasada based upon your karmas and whatever you have done now and all that. Accept it with humility and thank God. If you have that attitude, then you will never have miss anything in life. I went to the temple, asked the Ishvara, please give me a very big house. But Ishvara has given me a small house. Even though I have been able to buy that small house. Take it. At this stage, Ishvara feels that this is the prasadam that you deserve. So you take that. For example, when we go to the temple, and we have this, actually what I am telling you is not nothing, something very exotic or anything, right? Mystery or nothing. This attitude is there in all of us. When we go to the temple, we go for praying. Are we going to the temple? And I believe none of us do that. Thinking that, okay, today is Tuesday. If I go to the temple, I will get this Medu Vada Prasada. Or it's a Friday, I will get Laddu Prasada. Do we ever think like that? We go to the temple, we pray. And whatever that priest is giving as a prasada, it may be just a spoon of water, no tirtha. With some tulsi in that. That is the prasada he gives on that day. We will accept it, take God's name and accept it and go away happily. We will not feel, oh, I came to have puliyodara and I didn't get it. Or I came to have something else. The puri, kachodi and all, Hanuman temple every Tuesday they used to give. Today they are not given. What temple they are running, useless temple. This we will never have if he's a real devotee. So this Ishwararpana Buddhi and Ishwara Prasada Bhavana is already there in us. We just have to nourish it, feed it, and use that in every aspect of our life, in everything that we do in life. That is why after every puja that we do, at the end, or every karma we do, Vedic karma. What is the mantra we chant? Kayena vacha manasa indriyirva buddhyatmanavat prakrite swabhavat karomi yat yat sagalam parasmai Sriman Narayanayedi samarpayami. I am offering all that I am doing with my body, kayena vacha, with my words, manasa, with my mind, with all my organs and faculties, manasa indriyerva buddhyatmanavat, with my intellect, with my atma, prakrite swabhavat, plus all that I am doing out of my natural instincts. Everything I am offering to you, O Lord. That is the prayer offering after we do every karma. This, we should have this attitude in our mind, and anything that we do in our life, if we go with this attitude, that is karma yoga, and that is what is going to give you increased sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. So this is what Puja Swamiji deals how with karma yoga. Whereas Krishna, Bhagavan Krishna in Bhagavad Gita deals with karma yoga in a little different way, but in essence both are the same. He says karma yoga consists of three components. Sat karmani, sat guna hai, and sat bhavana. In a different way. You can call it, the same idea, put it in a different way. Sat karmani means what? Noble actions or good actions. Excuse me. And what is a good action? How do you define a good action? A good action is that because of which the people who are benefiting are large in number. Whenever you do anything or something, if you find that you are doing that for the benefit of a large number of people, that is satkarma. And that large number of people can include you also. That does not mean that you should not include yourself in that benefit. You can include yourself because you are part of that population. So it could be anything that you are doing, giving charity to to people, poor feeding, teaching people, lot of people, all these things. If the benefit is going to a larger and larger number of people, that is a satkarma. This is the definition of a good action or a noble action, right? And what will be the opposite of this? Opposite is you do everything only for your own benefit. By your action, not even a second person is going to be benefited. That is the opposite of satkarma. So, how you should approach anything that you do, before you do, ask yourself a question. Whether the action that I am going to do is going to benefit only me, or it is going to benefit other than myself, people other than myself. Higher number of people are going to benefit, the better karma it is, the better satkarma it is. So this is the first question we must ask ourselves. And this is all, mind you, part of karma yoga, one component of karma yoga. Ask ourselves, whenever I am doing anything, is it going to benefit? Even if it is going to benefit one more person, still it will come under satkarma. So this is the first aspect. The inferior karma is that which benefits only you, or little extent only your family. Because normally we consider family as our own self only, right? Everything we do for ourselves and family. So this is what is satkarma is. Or this is another way it is said, paropakara karmani. So para upakara, I mean the other people, helping other people, benevolent actions, right? So this is the first part. The second part, second component is Satguna hai. What are the Satguna hai? Healthy virtues, healthy values, values like truthfulness, compassion, humility, consideration for others. These are all Sadgunas. Love, love not in the Western sense. Love means compassion, another form of compassion. So these healthy values, healthy morals, and healthy virtues, these things are what Sadguna. So we have to develop those. There will be many instances where we will be prompted to tell a lie. And because so many people are doing it, we have become used to it, we don't take it as a big thing. What is a lie? A lie is something which we know is not right. We have some knowledge in our mind or some thought in our mind, but when it comes out of our mouth, it is the opposite we say. That is a lie. Isn't it? If there is your mind and your tongue are in total alignment, it can't be called a lie. What occurs in my mind, I am saying. It is not a lie. Lie is only when there is a conflict between this. And you continuously go on lying. And there are many people I have come across, they are habitual liars. For no reason they will lie. Something, they've got some problem with them. They have to lie necessarily. Especially these plumbers and all in India, we will find this very, very often. Plumber, electrician. They will tell you that 10 o'clock they will come to your house and repair whatever is to be done. 10:15, you will call him. He will say, sir, I am already just reaching your house. Just in 2 minutes I will be there. You will say, okay, thank you. After half an hour, you again call him. Then he will give you another excuse. No, I was there, at the gate, my vehicle got punctured and all that. Actually, the fellow would not have left his house also at that time. Simply lying, He can always say, sir, I have not left the house. I'm sorry. I gave you an appointment, but for certain things came up and I couldn't do it. Nobody is going to hang him for that. But, they are habitually, I have experienced, that's why I'm sharing it. Habitually lying. The fellow was supposed to come at 10 o'clock. He will land up at 1 o'clock when you are about to have your lunch. That's another problem. Anyhow, what I'm saying is, these satkarmas or satgunas can be developed. And Puja Swamiji says, when you go on lying, what happens is you become a split personality. Because your thoughts are one and your action is different. So you become a split personality. And which is very dangerous, which is neither good for you, nor for the people around you. So these gunas have to be developed, and we must take a sort of a pledge that I will only speak truth. And if the truth is not palatable, I will keep quiet. There is a beautiful sloka in Sanskrit. Satyam bhruyat priyam bhruyat na bhruyat satyam apriyam. He says, Satyam bhruyat, tell the truth. Priyam bhruyat, say it in a pleasant way, the truth. Na bhruyat satyam apriyam. If you are telling the truth is going to cause any unpleasantness, better option to keep quiet. There is no compulsion to say the truth. Unless you are in a court and you are standing in a witness box. That's a different situation altogether. But as a sadhaka, if by speaking the truth, somebody is going to be hurt, somebody's feelings is going to be hurt, better don't speak the truth. Keep quiet. That's also always an option. So these are all the things, that gunas that we have to develop in this karma yoga, which will eventually lead us to the sadhana chatushtaya. So sadguna. And the third part is sadbhavana, I told you. healthy attitudes towards everything in the creation, and which I mentioned about it right in the beginning of this talks itself, which is what? A reverential attitude, a prayerful attitude. Everything in this creation is been created by God, by Ishvara. So everything has got Ishvara's attributes in them. We must learn to look at everything reverentially. And that is why in our culture, we have this inculcated in us right from our childhood. Water is reverential for us. Money is reverential for us. Many of us who are actually, Samskrita Purushas, we will actually consider money as Lakshmi Devi and pray. Only when you do that, that will stay with you. Lakshmi Devi will stay with you. If you use the money to gamble and do all sorts of nonsensical things, a time will come when she will say, Tata, bye-bye, because you are misusing me. Lakshmi Devi will say. So that is why trees, we have reverence for trees. We do all this Kalpataru Day, Puja, in villages and all, temples, outside trees and all, we go and we pray to the trees. Creation, part of the creation. We pray to poisonous snakes. Naga Panchami we celebrate. Why? Creation of God. Whether it is poison, doesn't have poison, doesn't bother us. If it is poison, we'll be careful not to go and pray it in the sense that take it and put it on our neck and down. Right? Shiva did it. He can do it, but we cannot do it. But we will pray. We'll give it milk or whatever it is. We will, on Naga Panchami day, everything in this creation, we have got a day to celebrate that creation. That is the beauty of our culture. And the more we actually fall in line with this kind of a reverential attitude to everything in this creation, that is what is the development of Sadbhavana. And as I told you, Ishvara Arpana Buddhi and Ishvara Prasada Bhavana also comes into this Sadbhavana only. Whenever we are offering some something, some Naivedyam, we are offering to the Ishvara, the Creator. And all his creations can partake of that Naivedyam. So these are all, Sadbhavana. And in fact, it should go to the extent, the Sadbhavana, that even if a mosquito bites you, you must not, immediately react to kill it. Should not do that. Ishvara's creation. You have no right to take the life of another. You have no right to take another life. That does not mean that you must actually invite the mosquitoes, come bite me, come bite me. Take all the precautions that you need to take for the mosquitoes not to bite you. But if you have not been careful and one mosquito has come inside your room and it is biting you, it is not its mistake. It is its dharma. It is doing its swadharma, biting you and taking blood. Mosquito is doing swadharma. You fail to do your swadharma of protecting yourself. And you are killing that mosquito because it is a tiny mosquito. That is why you are killing. So this bhavana should go to that extent. That I am not going to hurt in any manner. And that is why all this yama, niyama and all which are told in the yoga shastra, very important. So we must recall all this every moment of our life, because what is our nature? Our nature is awareness, consciousness. Every moment of our life, we must keep on improving this awareness. That is how we develop this Sadbhavana. So Sadkarmani, then Sadguna and Sadbhavana. This is what Krishna talks about as Karma Yoga in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So all these things in our culture all symbolize, very nicely symbolized. We have a ready-made platform for practicing all these things. In fact, the entire Veda Purva Kanda, that is the Karma Kanda, Purva Bhaga, is all about these karmas only. Different devatas, pleasing different devatas for getting so many things in our life and all that. All this. So in one way, those karmas, if we continue to do also, you will develop all these sat bhavana, reverential attitude you will develop. If you continue to do, whether it is pitru karma, whether it is devata karma, whatever karma you are, which has been ordained or enjoined for all of us to do, that bhavana, reverential attitude, you can develop. Okay. So, if we look at the entire thing, what is Vedanta? Self-knowledge is all about. Self-knowledge is qualification, acquiring this qualification through this Veda and Vedanta put together is what is self-knowledge. And to acquire that, to understand that, what qualification we need to acquire is this sadhana chatushtaya, right? So, this sadhana chatushtayam gives us jnana yogyata. Yogyata means fitness, qualification. Once you have the jnana yogyata, then you go to the jnana kanda and get that self-knowledge. Okay. And which is what? Once you have acquired the self-knowledge, assimilated that self-knowledge, and you abide in that self-knowledge, that is the state of moksha. Simple. Right? Sounds simple. So, in this text in Tattva Bodha, we are not dealing with the first part, all this Satkarma and all. We are dealing only with the second part, which is the Jnana Kanda. So, briefly, the Jnana Yogyata, the author has actually introduced and explained to us. Now, he will take us to the Jnana Kanda. And Jnana Kanda, it is not just, understanding the Upanishads. There is a process, there is a prakriya which the Vedanta texts they use. Straight away, you are not introduced to very subtle concepts. And this entire analysis involves 3 stages. What are those 3 stages? If you look at the entire cosmos, we discussed earlier, it consists of 3 entities. Jiva, Jagat, and Ishvara. This is what I told you, right? 3 entities. And Vedanta is all about trying to understand the relationship between these 3 entities and establishing a fact that there is no difference in essence between these 3 entities. All are one and the same. That is what is the ultimate aim of Vedanta Upanishads to tell us. But if it tells it right in the first chapter itself, nobody will understand. So it is a process. So in the process, what it does, and what we will be seeing, first we actually analyze the jiva part, the individual part. It is called Vyashti Vicharaha. Vyashti means individual. So we thoroughly understand what this individual is all about, what we say jiva, jiva, jiva. What is this jiva is all about. We understand that. Then at the second stage, we move to Samashti Vichara. What is this entire cosmos is all about? What is this totality, this macrocosm? In the individual, it is microcosm we analyze. Then we go to the macrocosm analysis. Once we understand these two aspects, it covers this entire world. Because in that we will understand that Ishvara is nothing but this cosmos only. When we say Ishvara, it is not a third entity we are talking about. When we say Ishvara, we are referring to the entire cosmic order, the powers which are there in the cosmos. That is what is for us the Ishvara, the Samashti. Once we have understood this Vyashti and Samashti, we have to understand the oneness of this Vyashti and Samashti. That there is no difference between the Vyashti and the Samashti. There is no difference between the individual and the total. There is no difference between the microcosm and the macrocosm. And that is called Aikya Vicharaha. Aikya Vicharaha means trying to understand, analyze the how the Vyashti is the same as the Samashti. How does the Mahavakyam Tat Tvam Asi make sense? How does the Mahavakyam Aham Brahmasmi make sense? How we should understand these Mahavakyams which are there in the Upanishads. Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, Prajnanam Brahma, Ahamatma Brahma. So many hundreds of Mahavakyams which are equating the Vyashti with Samashti are there in the Upanishads. How we have to understand that. That is what is now going to follow in the next classes and all. We have now acquired certain degree of qualification, the sadhana chatushtaya, so that when we go into Vyashti Vichara, Samashti Vichara and Aikya Vichara, those things will become easy for us to comprehend. What we are going to discuss, that will be easy for us to comprehend. Okay. So this is the first part of the teaching which the author has concluded, right? So now, having learned the benefits of the self-knowledge and also little bit understood what moksha is all about, the student in the text wants to go now into further details. Because this student is a mumukshu, because author here, whoever is written, assumes that whoever is reading this text has got a certain degree of sadhana chatushtaya. If that assumption was not there, the text would have ended here itself. He will tell the student, okay, now this is, I have told you what is sadhana chatushtaya, now go and acquire that and come back when you have got it. But the author continues the text. That means what? He feels that the student, along with all of us, we have all got a certain degree of sadhana chatushtayam, which makes us qualified, fit enough to continue with the this Vyashti Vichara, Samashti Vichara, etc. So he goes ahead and the text continues, right? So he goes into the further details as I explained to you what is this Vyashti Vichara and all. The student, in the last sentence which the Acharya spoke, he heard one new word, Tattva Viveka. Isn't it? If you all see your text, it will be there. Tattva Viveka Adhikarinam Bhavanti, said, right? Now the student is curious, what is this Tattva Viveka? And he wants the answer. And he asks the question, Tattva Viveka kaha? What do you mean by Tattva Viveka? Hey Guru, when I asked you Mumukshutvam Kim, you gave me an answer and then you continued saying Etat Sadhana Chatushtayam. And then you say that the person who has got this sadhana chatushtayam becomes an adhikari for tattva viveka. Now, what do you mean by this tattva viveka? He asked that question. And the Guruji, as usual, is always cryptic. Gurus are very cryptic. Rarely they will explain in detail. He says, Atma Satyam Tadanyat Sarvam Mityeti. A very, very loaded statement he makes. Atma Satyam Tadanyat Sarvam Mityeti. So this is what is the answer the Guru is giving, and we will see the details of this answer in the next class. Okay, I'll stop here, and if there are any other questions relating to what we have learned till now, we will discuss that. Don't ask me about Aikya Vichara and all that. Okay.
Namaskaram.
I'll just say the prayers. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Thank you all very much. I hope some people have not, I see some people have not marked their attendance. So if they are still there, please mark your attendance.
Raghuji, I have a question,
you.
or rather, I need some information from you. Could you give me the reference, the shloka for the Sadguna and couple of shlokas? I don't know whether it is in the 3rd chapter or some of them in the 2nd chapter. If there are a couple of shlokas, that would be helpful.
Mainly 3rd chapter, Karma Yoga.
Mainly 3rd chapter. Yeah, I thought, but there are some shlokas.
But you see, Krishna doesn't talk about like in the chapter wise. He talks about in the 18th chapter also when he is talking about Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, Tamo Guna.
Yes.
So it is found in so many places rather, right?
Yes.
But
mainly in 3rd chapter.
Mainly in 3rd chapter, and also other places also when he is talking about the three gunas, he talks about who is a person. Then when he talks about Brahmana, Kshatriya, Dharma, there also he talks about what is the Brahmana, what is the Kshatriya, Dharma and all that. So many places you will find in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about this rather, right?
Okay.
So it will be difficult for me to say this shloka, this shloka, this shloka.
That's what I thought, but I thought since you did not mention, I figured it must have scattered all over, but I just wanted to confirm it.
Yeah, it is scattered all over.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dhanyavad.
Any more questions?
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. Premaji, you said you had some questions, no?
Yeah. Can you hear me, Guruji?
Thank you.
Yeah, I can hear. Tell me.
Okay. The question is, when somebody is not a universal being, he's only thinking of himself all the time and pursuing his own needs and not benefiting anybody else except himself, it causes a chain reaction in other people because it causes a kind of reaction. And perhaps Karma Yoga is response to that, and instead of reacting.
Yeah, Karma
Most
Yoga
of
is
us
a
react,
response. First of all, you have to understand what is Karma Yoga, right?
Yeah.
Many people have this, we see advertisements that some big industrialist has died and then he was a great Karma Yogi, right? Now, all that he must have done in his life is that the benefit that he wanted to give to others was incidental. He wanted to benefit his own industrial empire and all that. Now, how can he be called a Karma Yogi? Karma Yogi is he doesn't put himself first. A Karma Yogi puts himself last and everybody else first. So Karma Yoga attitude has to be developed, and that is what, what Krishna says, Nishkama Karma. Nishkama Karma is not necessarily doing everything without any desire. We have to understand this word Nishkama Karma also very carefully. Nishkama Karma means doing things with such an attitude that even if you don't get what you desire, you are contented with what you get. That is what is Nishkama Karma, how we have to understand, right? Otherwise, Nishkama Karma, everybody will say nobody will have do any karma without any desire, right? Actually, but there is a very nice, sloka. I don't know whether I told in this class. What is that? I'm just forgetting. Prayojanam anuddishya mandopina pravartate. Prayojanam anuddishya means without looking for a purpose. Mandhopi na vartate. Anuvartate means even a fool will not do anything. So everybody, we all do with certain desire, with certain aim, everything that we do. But the difference comes that when we don't get what we want, at that time, what is going to be your mental state? That is what is Karma Yoga attitude.
No, but when you react, it's because of the inability to change the person, because that person is selfish or self-centered. But what happens is you're suppressing your anger. So when the karma yoga is beneficial to both, how do you, the process
So
is
see, you have to
responding
understand one thing.
or react?
Yes. The answer gives, Puja Swamiji gives a very beautiful answer to that. If a person is behaving in a certain manner
Give a rose.
and you react to that, you are reacting to his behavior, right? But step back, look at the background of that person, why he is doing it.
We don't know.
I will give you an example. When we walk on the road, especially in India, I don't know in foreign countries, in India, we come across certain people who are actually mentally totally upset. They will be throwing stones at people, or they will rag clothes. Some people will be totally naked, not having taken bath for, that the hair will be all completely dirty all over. When we see such a person, what is our reaction? Do we actually take a stone and throw at that person because he is throwing stone? If we are cultured people, our reaction will be one of compassion. Because we understand all the actions are emanating from the fact that the person is mentally insane. We understand his mental condition. And that is why he reacts like that. And we have compassion for that person. A person who doesn't understand this will throw a stone at that fellow. But a cultured person will actually try to, if possible, help that person. Right? Without harming himself. Of course, such people can be very dangerous if you go near them. So, whenever we come across such, individuals, in fact, I don't know whether you saw that movie, Munna Bhai's second part. What was that called? I forget the name. This concept has been very beautifully explained. It's called Gandhi, Gandhigiri, that Sanjay that goes on saying, So when that builder, who is a mafia don, he is trying to, do something, cause some harm to this fellow, his reaction is, sends him a note that I know, I feel very sorry for you, you are suffering from a disease. And, I pray to God and I'm sending you flowers. Sorry? Who is that? Sorry. So, once we understand the background of a person, why he is reacting, and mind you, this takes effort. Huh? I mean, we cannot overcome this overnight just because Guru has told, oh, from tomorrow I'm going to understand it. That's not going to happen. But if you are focusing on that, understand why that person is behaving like that, then there won't be reaction for you. There will be only understanding and action and compassion for that person. And if possible, we will try to help that person in whatever manner that we can. Isn't it? Now, I'll tell you, I'll give you another very practical example, which is right now happening in our house. We have a maid servant who comes to cook. She had an accident a few days ago. For 5-6 days, she didn't come. Okay, we said fine. She went for some treatment and started coming again. Now today, she was not able to work. So my wife asked her, what is the problem? Have you consulted the doctor and all that? He said, yeah, I got to the doctor, chest x-ray he has taken and all that, and he has given some medicines. But my wife said that from your condition, it is not a chest problem, you have got a neck problem because you are having breathing problem and all. So my wife spoke to the doctor. And the doctor said, no, she came for a chest problem, so I took chest x-ray. I didn't take a neck x-ray. Now, my wife told her, you straight away go and do your CT scan and things like that, take an x-ray and all. It has turned out that she has got a serious problem because of the accident. There has been a concussion in her, backbone. And maybe, how bad it is, doesn't know. The doctor has told that she should not move, not even lift a pencil for next 8 days. Totally bedridden. Now, this condition, now she won't come for work. We can have two reactions. She is not coming for work. We are engaged for that. And she all gets into accident, not my fault. I will not pay her salary. Isn't it a reaction? But if you understand the background, that poor lady, she met with an accident, not her fault also probably. Then we will have compassion. In fact, we will reach out. We will ask her whether, this medicine, all this treatment is going to cost you money. You want any monetary help? We will ask her whether you want any help from us. Please tell us. So this is the difference in action and reaction. So we have to develop that second part towards everybody. Whatever, there is children, husband, parents, everybody. Old people face this problem a lot in our houses. If we understand what they are going to, normally when you become old, you become lonely. Isn't it? Nobody will sit with you and talk with you. Everybody goes around in their own jobs and things like that and all. And suppose the spouse is also gone. I mean, the spouse, he or she has died. Then the one who is surviving will feel still lonely. At least earlier one person was there to talk to me. Now even that person is not there. Children have no time. Grandchildren have no time. Becomes very lonely. So when they become lonely, they will certainly become very irritable and, their reaction will be there. They are not Vedantins. If they are Vedantin, the problem will not be there, whether old, young and all that. But they have not undergone Vedanta. There will be reaction. And if we have undergone Vedanta, if we know about this, we should have sympathy towards those people, compassion towards all those people. So many circumstances, so many day-to-day life, we will come across what you are talking about. And the whole spiritual pursuit is to completely change our attitude, change our vision towards such things. And when we do that, we will be free. And actually what you say, when you react, actually you are involved, you are inviting trouble for yourself. That is what we are doing. When we react, we are putting ourselves into a more difficult situation than what we are facing. That's how arguments develop. People start shouting at each other and all. If first instant itself you tell him, I understand from where you are coming. You are quite right in what you are saying from given the background. Just get, I want you to calm down and all that. We will talk about these things later. They are not very great things. So simple like this, just avoid the situation. You will see after a few minutes that fellow's, all the anger and all subsided. In fact, one of the people whom I had as a boss, he gave me one very nice tip in my life, which many times I follow. Because the reaction is something which is not in our control, isn't it? When somebody is saying something which hurts us, immediately there's a reaction. Anger comes. So I asked this question that I've got this problem, what should I do? He said, take a pen and paper. Write down all that you are feeling for that person in that. Anything, abuse him, do everything. Write it down. But don't give it to him. Keep it for 24 hours. Next day you read. And if you feel that you have to give it to him, you give it to him. But he says, I can give you 100% guarantee. Next day when you yourself read it, you will tear it and rather burn that paper. He says, you practice this, automatically you will overcome this reaction problem. And he was a very nice guy. I mean, he gave me this, and probably those were the initial lessons in Vedanta I learned. Now all those things which I learned in my earlier years, makes a lot of sense to me, how we should do it. So these are all some practical ways we can try to do. Even today also sometimes it happens with me, somebody has written something in a Facebook, suppose, and I will immediately react. I will write something there, right, as a response, but I will not post it. After 2 minutes, I will delete that. So I have taken out
Anger.
but it has not hurt the other person. I'm not getting into an argument. I'm not getting into any debate, nothing. I'll immediately delete that post. But I have achieved my purpose of that reaction has been contained. And nowadays, it happens within a minute or so. It doesn't take me 24 hours. So like that, we have to keep on improving. And there are...
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Otherwise, we'll continue in the next class. More questions. Okay. These are all interesting.
Guruji,
Practical talk.
I have a question.
Yeah.
This is Suleika. You mentioned Jnana Kanda, and you also referred to Karma Kanda as well. Are there two parallel paths? And
No. See, Vedas are one body of knowledge.
Yes.
One part, the earlier part of the Vedas, they talk about doing all the karmas, the rituals, the rites, everything. Okay?
Yes.
When you come, and the second part is what is called the Upanishads, Veda Anta, the end part, right?
Yes.
That is also called Uttara Bhaga, Purva Bhaga, Uttara Bhaga, or Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, or Vedas and Vedanta. So many words are used, all meaning the same. When you come to the Upanishads, the Vedanta assumes that you have actually gone through the Karma Kanda. And Karma Kanda means you have got enough, you have done enough of Karma Yoga in your life. Right? So that is why even when we look at the ashramas, Brahmacharya ashrama, Grihastha ashrama, Vanaprastha ashrama, and Sannyasa ashramas, they all actually relate to this. In Brahmacharya ashrama, we learn about all these things. Right? Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda, Karma Kanda more emphasis, Jnana Kanda less emphasis. We learn about it. And then all these karmas, after marriage, one is supposed to perform all that with that attitude of reverence along with his spouse.
Yes.
That is our marriage is not for, progeny. Our system of marriage is for dharmic marriage, for upholding the dharma, for upholding all that has the Vedas have ordained us to do. Husband and wife together, they have to do all those things. That's a very big chapter. In fact, Grihastha Ashrama itself is a very big chapter. We need to understand what is Grihastha Ashrama is about. Today, you don't find anybody following even 1% of the Grihastha Ashrama dharma. So that is because lack of knowledge. Nobody has told them what it is all about. But having said that, during the Grihastha Ashrama is the period when you do Karma Yoga and acquire all this Chadana Chatushtaya Sampatti. And then when your children have grown up and they are on their own feet, in terms of you withdraw yourself from them. What did we discuss? Withdrawal, Uparamaha. Withdraw yourself. Go to Vanaprastha
Yes.
Vanaprastha does not necessarily mean you have to go to some jungle and sit there. Sitting in your home, you can practice Vanaprastha. All your time you are doing, because your active life is over. You have done your Grihastha your active life is over, your children have grown up, all that responsibilities are over. Now withdraw yourself and focus on Upasana, prayers, training your mind for the Samadhi part. What we said last, Samadhanam part.
Yes.
Train yourself, focusing the mind, concentration of the mind, Chitta Ekagrata, all that. Because Karma Yoga has given you Chitta Shuddhi, Grihastha Ashrama. Now you require Chitta Ekagrata. For that, you have got the Vanaprastha Ashrama. So there you spend most of your time in that only, and that is preparation for Vedanta. So after you do Vanaprastha Ashrama, you become a sannyasi. Again, sannyasi you can become at your mental level. You need not become, wear all those robes and all that. Not necessary. You can be a sannyasi at your mental level. So sitting at home, you can be a grihastha sannyasi. You don't go anywhere, but your attitude towards everything is a sannyasi's attitude. So it's a very big topic, and we will be covering all these topics as we go along, in the further study. In Tattva Bodha, we may not cover everything, but as we continue Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita and all that, we will be continuing, studying all this in detail. Yeah. If I go on telling, that class will never end.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Hari Om.
Thank you.
We'll continue the next Sunday. Okay, next Saturday. Thank you. Hari Om.
Everybody.
Hari Om.
Thank you. Thank you.